I have a very annoying spot on my face, so hopefully you won't see it too much, which is just there, which is very, very annoying, and it's like really inflamed up. But anyway, I have a serious topic to talk about. I was thinking about it today, and I don't know how it would play out or anything, because at the end of the day, it's not really up to me. But the Queen is technically the head of the church, and I am not interested in the title of Queen of England. To be honest, I won't want to move to a hot country, and therefore, I don't want, and plus, I don't want people to think that I have favoritisms towards English people. I don't. I hate English people just as much as I hate most people around the world, although I do love the English society, and I do think that most people here seem to be fairly nice. Um, like I don't know, that they're much nicer than California people. But anyway, um, it's I'm thinking about what's happening if I'm getting onto Big Brother, if I'm saying that I'm Christ. Is the Queen of England, how is she going to react? I know she's very old, so I'm not expecting her to. I don't know. I don't know what to expect, because she can't stay head of the church. That's for certain, because um, the church is about to fall. Everyone in it is not on God's side. They're worshipping nonsense. Um, the church can't just be changed. They can't just be like, we're changing. The Christian church is dead as far as I'm concerned, and she shouldn't be proud to want to be the head of it, and she should definitely step down. If she steps down and passes the crown on to me, that would be nice, and I would like that, and I feel like that would give me power. And it would also encourage people to seek Christ, and the real Christ, and not see Jesus as God, but rather see Jesus as a code for Jesus, us, as in all people, both the good and the bad. It's fine to worship Jesus as a man who saves people, but they also have to realize that there's too many people here, and part of saving people is actually reducing the population, and hence why Jesus is not only just the savior because he's doctors and firemen and a list of he's the person who works in RSPB and helps save children from hunger. He's everyone, but he's also bad people who torment and follow false doctrines, and all the bad things that's people, the antichrist people should do, or antichrist people do. That's not should do, but shouldn't do. But anyway, do. But yeah, that's the reason why Jesus needs to be sacrificed and die, because he's leading. He's everyone, good and bad. The good should stay, the bad should go. I believe in choice. I'm very for choice, and if Christians, realize that suicide's not the way, and if they say they believe in the Christianity, but they don't believe in the rapture, and they don't believe in seeking heaven, they believe that creating earth or heaven on earth makes sense. Yeah, great, but the Queen should encourage people to seek me, and seek me as the word, and hence I am the church. I am the head of the church. And yeah, so she should denounce her title and give it to me. When it comes to Catholics, though, I don't know, because the Catholics have a lot more power than the Queen. The Catholic Church is 100% not for me. Okay, you worship Mary, so I'm when I focus my anger, I focus it on Christianity, and I'm always saying it's about destroying Christianity. And a lot of people would say, oh, Catholic is different. I mean, technically it's not. A lot of Catholics still believe in the rapture. A lot of Catholics still believe that God is Jesus. And they're worshipping nonsense, and okay, they don't preach the same things, but they still believe that abortion is wrong, and actually abortion is killing God because there's too many people. They still preach that God is the Almighty and can do everything, when in reality that's not the truth. God is dying, the planet is dying. So if God can do everything, why is there so much suffering here? They're preaching nonsense. Everything they preach is nonsense. So they can't claim to be me. I was thinking today, maybe they should halve the church or divide the church into two, so that you have one that are willing to accept new rules, um, and new teachings, where with me at the head, and one where they stick with their God the Father, and believe that I'm nothing, or whatever they want to believe. But to be honest, the Christian Church, the Catholic Church, I mean, not the Catholic Church, is still so against me that it's not just a case of me coming in and saying, okay, let's make some new rules. God is a female, and God is okay with abortion. If you don't want a child, if you can't manage it, or if you've got too many, any excuse to have an abortion is a good excuse. That's kind of what I would preach. And divorce, I do believe in a mini marriage, and I think that if you've been in a mini marriage for so long, then you should get a full marriage, because I realize that there are people that are like my sister and a bit dumb, and they could be in a relationship with someone for a very long time and then just have the relationship just be ended and cut off, with them getting literally nothing, and they're not going to fight it, they're not going to argue it. And so I can see why marriage has really worked in my sister's favor, because she probably would have, George cared so much about her when they were together. The second they had a child, he dumped her like a log. And if they weren't married, he would have happily taken every penny that they made and not give her anything, and she wouldn't have fought for it, because she's a bit of an idiot. And I'm hearing details about the case, the court case. She wasn't going to use a solicitor. She wasn't going to do anything, basically. My mum was the one who paid for a solicitor. The solicitor, of course, my mum's really stupid too, and God, it's so expensive to be an idiot. She gave the solicitor gave a quote of £3,000 for three things, which was to deal with a second molestation order that her husband has put on her, because they went to their house in Easter to try and see the child, because he was refusing to give her the phone calls that the court had demanded that she had got. And even when they went into court, she still didn't get the phone calls, because she didn't argue her case enough. And he had a solicitor that basically just got the court to tell us to fuck off, which worked. And we didn't have a solicitor, he did, and he won, basically. So we made sure we got a solicitor for Sophie the second time. But she wasn't willing to do that. She wasn't willing to do anything. She would have just walked off and not cared. And it's just like, well, that's not fair. They were together for 13 years, married for 3, yes, but to be honest, it's not normal to be in a relationship for 9 years and not get married. And I don't think that's even right. If they would have split up 3 years ago, she would have come away with nothing, even though technically she relied her whole life on him and didn't get a job because of him. We never thought a divorce was coming. But anyway, it's really complicated. I don't want to talk about it. It shouldn't be about my sister. But yeah, sometimes marriage is important. But the thing is, though, sometimes the church seems to make divorce so hard. And the lawyer is charging Sophie. Okay, it was supposed to be 3,000 for 3 cases. That one, the molestation, the new molestation that he's done, which seems to have just faded away, and there's no more talk of it. And then there's one which is the divorce, and then one which was trying to get access to the child that they have. And yeah, she was going to charge 3,000 for all 3 of them, and now it's turning out that actually she's going to charge £9,000 just for the divorce case, and an extra 6,000 for the child case, or something like that. I mean, Sophie doesn't seem to understand herself what's going on. I keep saying, give me accurate descriptions, and when I asked my mum, she didn't seem to have any clue, and she sort of spent ages trying to work out how much she'd spent. And they're just really dumb, how they just don't think to ask all these questions, like how much is it costing and what's it going to be, why haven't you figured that out? And I don't know, but divorce is so expensive. I don't understand, like, why. Technically, you should just be able to there needs to be something to make sure that it's divided fairly. Yes, because George would have given her nothing if they weren't married, and because they were married, he was trying to give her 200 and saying, if you don't sign it, you won't get anything. I think he did at one stage go up to 300, but they were supposed to be like millionaires, and he'd worked an extra 2 years, so should be richer than a millionaire. I think he's hidden quite a lot of the money, but whatever. She's got a more than 300,000, but not by huge amounts. And yeah, I don't know. She wouldn't have fought it, and it's, I don't know. But to spend £9,000 on a lawyer to just sign a piece of paper, and I don't know why how could you spend £9,000? That's like what I would earn in like 6 months. So how can this woman earn it in like 2 days of working? It's just, I don't know how. Okay, she's probably put a lot more than 2 days, but it's probably like three or she hasn't worked that much. Like we really just invited her in, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I know my mum talks way too much, and maybe she's had hourly long conversations with her, and my mum doesn't realize that she charges £200 an hour, and my mum's just too busy talking that she doesn't understand or register things, and my sister's too busy not talking and just trying to avoid the whole subject that he was going to try and send her to jail for not responding to the divorce that he was trying to go through. And apparently she had to fill out, or she had to get the solicitors to fill out a bunch of forms to explain why she took 2 years to respond. And I don't know, it's quite complicated, but I don't know. Both of them are too dumb to actually figure things out, and it's complicated and whatever. But yeah, back to what I'm talking about, which is the church. I think the Queen, Christianity, the Queen, if she's smart, she would have nothing to do with Christianity, and she would just denounce herself as the head of the church. Pass it on to me, maybe. Yes, that, if you want to, that would be great. But yeah, when it comes to the Vatican, I'm not on their side. I don't believe in shaming people if they get divorces, and acting like you have to speak to all the rules that they have. I don't agree with any of them, and so it's not. And with their leaders as well, it's all old men that don't have relationships, and they're all people that worship a God that just wants to destroy and kill. And the whole Bible is just a bunch of tests, and everyone who's passed all these tests, or everyone who believes in these stories. Oh, I believe in a talking snake. Oh, I believe in a talking donkey. I believe in in whatever crap that's in there. Oh, Hercules. That guy Samson, he was an amazing, nice guy. He burnt all the crops, the villagers' crops down, and he forced women to marry him. Oh yes, I'm going to worship that God, the God of these people, the God who's blessed these people, these evil people. Oh, the God that thinks Lot is the only good, decent person. And every single story is just a story they fell. And so anyone that has anything to do with the leadership in these churches, I don't want you. You can't just turn around and say, "Oh yeah, we believe in you. We believe in you," and we're going to switch our ways. You haven't. You spent your whole life preaching bullshit and nonsense and crap, and you can't just. I was thinking maybe just divide it and have half. You would have to get new leaders in, young leaders, couples ideally, where there's a man and a wife who love each other working together. That's what I would love to see as being the leader of the church. But I think there's just so much wrong with the Catholic Church that I don't want to just have them turn around and say, okay, we'll worship you now. No, you've done everything wrong, and your church needs to completely fall to the ground. Not literally, because I love the architecture. The architecture of your place is perfect. But yeah, you all the leaders of people who believed in the Bible and followed it. You need to realize that you have done wrong, and that Bible is, and that that all that lessons that you've been learning and teaching people is all crap and nonsense and against me and not what I'm for. You're just people who try to use God as a way of trying to big up your own views and your own opinions, and it's not my opinions. And so I don't know what's going to happen. I think you all need to retire, definitely. If some of you want to go to heaven, I don't give a shit. That's kind of my view on you. If you want to see me as the enemy for saying that, then great. You've always been my enemy, and I don't care if you think that I'm your enemy, because or whatever. I don't. If we're enemies, we've always been enemies. Let's just say that. And the Bible says that those who preach nonsense and preach crap let them continue preaching crap. And I think you should. I think you owe it to God. You've done this for a reason. You've been preaching this crap for a reason, which is to reduce the population. And if you want to help your congregation, if you've been preaching about the rapture and believe in the rapture, then go off and do the rapture. but that is just a way of killing people and sending them off into heaven. But yeah, basically, if you want to come round to me, I think what you need to do is shut down your church, have nothing more to do with not necessarily the Bible, because it is a test, so you can't have nothing to do with the Bible, but you need to either follow through with what your plan is, which is to send people to God the Father in heaven, not God the Father as in world leaders, but God the Father in heaven. Or if you want to send people to world leaders, whatever, but you've been worshipping world leaders, you have not been worshipping me. And I don't know what's going to happen. I think the Catholic Church will fall, and I think there needs to be a 3.5 year break where you say, I am sorry for turning against you. I am sorry for not seeing the Bible as a test. I am sorry for preaching what I preach. I am sorry for insulting the women of the Bible, or not noticing that they were suffering nonstop by the torment of this evil God that once is vile, and yet you preach about how it's love. You know, you need to, yeah, you need to have a break. You need to, I don't know how long it's going to take. It might take you a year and a half, 3 years or something to shut down the Bible or shut down your church. But yeah, you need to have a reset, a complete reset, where you continue preaching the nonsense that you preach and keep sucking people into your net. And then, yeah, I don't know, at some stage people will turn away from you, and then you'll be forced to close down and shut down. And then I think you should shut down for 3 years or 3.5 years, and during that time you need to basically retire everyone that's worked for you, and get new people in, who don't read the Bible and say, wow, what a lovely God this is. You know, maybe you can talk to me about it if you have reasons to believe why that God is not nice, not evil. You know, why is the Bible, the God of the Bible, not evil? You know, why do you think it's not evil? Tell me one reason why it's not evil. You know, I don't think there's any reason in there to disprove that God's not evil, and so therefore you believe in an evil God, and I'm not evil. And so you've never worshipped me. So it's not just a case of, oh, we're worshipping the wrong things, we'll worship the right things. No, you need to shut down, continue what you're doing, continue leading people into rubbish, and hopefully they'll all go mad, and then they'll start getting angry at you, and then they'll force you to close down the church. That is the time that it's meant to close down, when people are angry at you for having that church and for preaching the nonsense that you preach, and then you'll be forced to close. Now, if you want to start retiring sooner, then okay, but I'm not happy with you, because that's not the point of this. The point of you worshipping nonsense is to send people to help reduce the population. So you need to continue doing what you're doing, and continue driving people insane with nonsense, and preaching fear of how evil God is, and that you've got to be careful for Judgment Day, and you've got to obey his rules, because he'll send you to hell if you don't, whatever. Just keep doing that. And yeah, and then when you do shut down for 3.5 years and reopen with completely different stuff.